Hello everybody and welcome. I am the Beta Plan and this is Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York, a visual novel set in the world of darkness. And well, on the last few videos I didn't get a single dislike, so I guess my voices aren't that bad. Probably not good, but not that bad. But I also noticed that you all were as silent as the grave. None of you dare speak. I don't know why, but I guess you just like to be voyeurs. Well, in that case, let me just continue on, shall we? I hope I can continue with the accents and I won't forget about it, but yeah, I may, for the sake of brevity, change it a little bit, because, let's face it, what she's going to explain now, we all know, right? We all know. Apologies, you must have so many questions. While we're on the topic, perhaps we should start with those related to sustenance. I guess, how much do I have to drink? I feel this hunger, like, constantly. How much do I have to drink to make it go away? The sad reality is, it will never go away, darling. No matter how much you drink, you will always be tempted to have more. Unless you consume someone wholly to the last drop, paying for temporary relief with their life. But that is a one-way road to losing your humanity. Best start by just taking a single sip from a vessel. Be prudent. Hot, fresh blood will be more satiating than most anything they serve in a fancy glass, but it can make you more ferocious. I believe that's the way it's pronounced, but I'm not sure. As to how much you should have, it depends. If you're frugal, you can survive many nights without a single drink, but it's risky and will tempt the beast that is part of our curse. Tomorrow I shall take you hunting and we will explore this topic further. The blood you're having tonight should be enough to keep you happy for now. The beast you mentioned, is that like a metaphor or Oh, it is quite real, although not in a strictly physical sense. It lives in all of us, our nature and hunger manifest. Those more religious among us connected to the biblical Cain, the rage of the first murderer, the cursed by God seating in all his descendants. I, however, am a child of the Enlightenment. Not that it makes my struggle any easier. I have to be wary like every other kindred in the city and beyond. Individual kindred each have a unique relationship to their beast. What yours is going to be remains to be seen. But you do need to keep it under control. Each outburst endangers not just you, but also the masquerade. The concierge returns, asks for permissions to intrude, which Sophie gives with a polite smile, and leans in to whisper in her ear. You know that the gallery is now almost empty. I'm being told the gallery is just about to close, but we still have quite a lot to discuss. We'll go to one of my apartments. My jalopy is waiting downstairs. Come. The smile she puts on makes you remember last night's encounter in the showroom. A similar eagerness to spend time with this person overtakes you momentarily, and you follow her outside. Your sixth sense tells you she's an artistic soul, too, and you unwittingly start projecting good qualities onto her. Sophie leads you to a luxurious silver Rolls Royce and invites you to sit in the back. The chauffeur, a broad-shouldered, clean-shaven, middle-aged guy, starts driving immediately. Interestingly that you see her in this rear view window, well, most of the time it is angled towards the driver because he needs to have the angle to look back, so, but no, whatever. Where did we leave off? Oh, I believe I started telling you a bit more about our customs. You've heard the prince refer to our traditions. The chief among them is the masquerade. As you might have gathered from us assembling at the niche gallery after closing time, our comings, goings and doings tend to be somewhat secretive. We do not advertise our existence, we allow myths and modern fiction to morph and muddle the facts. So to the vast majority of kind, we remain bedtime stories and pop culture icons. Say, is that one television show about a vampire angel still popular? Oh, that is called Angel, yeah. Still popular? I don't think so, at least not where I am around. You shake your head in confusion. She shrugs and continues talking, looking a little bit more dejected than before. Our clandestine ways help us remain safe. Allows us to explain away the occasional trip up to the rational minds of the 21st century humanity and dictate much of our interactions with mortals. So, if it's such a secret, then I'm guessing your driver's a vampire too? I'm guessing he's a ghoul, but still. Oh dear, Gregory here? No, not a vampire. Although he is a loyal servant and as such trusted to not spill our secrets left and right. You will realize with time that such help is welcome. Gregory watches over me during the day hours. Sunburns are kind. That's why we take our rest when it rises. It's more akin to being dead than asleep, as I'm sure you've already experienced. But not everything you've heard about vampires is true. Some more folk-related threats are just legends, or occasionally a more minor nuisance. Garlic, running water. Even religious symbols don't repel us, unless the wielder is uniquely pure and godly. Stakes through the heart though, that's something to avoid. They do not destroy, but they do paralyze us. Well, that's just another reason to have somebody like trusty old Gregory here, making sure you're safe when you drift away. Safe as a little humble bumble child. Anyways, we have many enemies and they often know their advantage lies within daylight. Am I right in thinking that having a human friend or two is necessary then? Like, or, I mean, at least useful? In moderation. And best if they don't know your true nature. Also, I would say that subordinates are useful, but friends? I haven't had one of those for many years now. Ooh, and he's sitting right next to you, Sophie. Oh, that's just painful. That's just mean. Our little sect supplies social interactions aplenty, but it doesn't really encourage friendships. Alliances of convenience, to be broken at a whim. Yes, that's more like it. Long-term solidarity does occur in the Camarilla, but we are a very politicized organization by necessity. Loyalty is to your sire, to your prince and to the sect. Friends must remain a distant priority at best for us to maintain the masquerade and thrive as the years pass. With age comes authority. With it comes influence and power, if you wish to reach for it. She seems to be lost in thought and false silence for a while, leaving you to ponder all the things you've learned tonight. It still feels absolutely unreal, but as a piece after piece of knowledge falls into place, the image becomes almost like an entirely logical jigsaw puzzle. Whatever you wouldn't believe on your own, you've witnessed. Many questions swarm your thoughts, but the one you keep returning to is what is your place in this new reality should be. The car stops. You're in the city, in front of an old but well-renovated apartment building. We're here. Would you like to see your lodgings? I get my own apartment? That's neat. Consider it the first of many gifts that I'm able to grant in exchange for loyalty. Come upstairs. She leads you through a small hall with a night guard who greets Miss Langley with a good evening. You take the stairs up to the second floor. Sophie opens the door to room 209. I'm sorry, by the way, if you didn't hear it, but there were footsteps during this, when this lines came up. So there is more ambient sounds than perhaps my voice is by accident drowning out. I think this game would, if you play this in the dark, like, not just the dark, because only computer screen in your eyes is bad for you, but just in the dark, with a small little light on, headphones on, this could set an even better atmosphere than I'm trying to convey with my voice. In signs are old amenities. I love Vampire for its archaic use of English, and I'm told that I use archaic English as well, but sometimes when I see words, I know even what this means, but then English comes around and I'm like, where do I put the emphasis? Anyway, you could expect from a modern apartment, and some you wouldn't have deemed necessary just the previous night, including thick blinds on the windows. The back room has a comfortable looking bed and a thick steel door with several sturdy looking locks, but no windows. Well, how do you like it? Yeah, I'm an artistic type of person. Yeah, it's not bad. I changed a few things, switch a picture or two, maybe paint the walls a different color. I'm sure you would. But I would appreciate it if you could hold back the need to redecorate. Or at least consult me before you do. The time for solo acts will come later. Right now, what we need is collaborations. Tomorrow I will take you hunting and discuss the blood in more detail. I'll let you get comfortable. The keys are by the television set. I will come pick you up tomorrow night. Use the back room for rest. You can lock the doors, just in case. It stings a bit when she leaves. It's like the room suddenly became a few shades dimmer. You inspect the kitchen, hoping to find something to drink. Nothing. No regular food either. Feels strange that Kadir would be a more thoughtful host than your new sire, even if only in that respect. You briefly wonder if the sheriff might have a hidden side. With nothing left to do, you lie on the couch with the TV playing in the background for company. You can actually see some animation here. Columbo reruns. Kojak reruns. President of the United States got himself into serious trouble again. President of the United States got himself out of trouble again. Pundits start yelling over each other about things that seemed a little bit less insignificant just 2 days ago. I don't even know what pundits are. You start drifting. By the way, the American president getting himself into trouble again. The American president getting himself out of trouble again. I hope that collectively people remember that some things should not go away because of another reason, so to speak. Trying to be political about my... how shall I put it? Wish that America would vote for a new president rather sooner than later. Really, I'm getting stressed with just seeing the man. But he is not the only whack-off job that we have currently running certain countries, so it's not like only Americans have done that. No? Let's point that out there, but let's continue on. You start drifting off, reflecting about another night of confusing conversations and worldview-shattering revelations. How many more before you finally understand what happened to you and what you're supposed to do now? You keep coming back to the life you left behind, the people you should contact, the things you want to pick up from your apartment. You wonder when you'll have the chance for either. As you start to feel the same tiredness that made you drift into a cold sleep last night, you settle in the back room. The bed is comforting, the lack of windows, less so. You leave the light bulb on. Looking at it, you realize it's the closest you'll ever come to staring at the sun on a breezy summer day again. A wave of melancholy overwhelms you. I'm surprised that it's just a light bulb and not at least has a lampshade on it or something. A few minutes later, your consciousness fades and you take the plunge into darkness again. Sinking, 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 ever sinking, deeper and deeper. We get a map. I'm not sure if this means day and night time, because I assume it does, but I can't see from the symbol what it is right now. But hunger is at the heart of a vampire's existence. To ignore it is to tempt the beast to take over in its desire to feed. Their overindulgence in feeding may threaten the masquerade while staining what humanity you have left. Tutorial. In Coteries of New York, having a high hunger is indicated by a progressively thicker bloody frame around the screen. Okay. like the one you see now. Okay, so this is very high hunger. Good to know. As your hunger grows, so does the indicator. Your hunger may increase when you call upon your vampiric powers, or when you need to mend your wounds after a fight. When your hunger reaches the maximum level, you will receive a warning after you complete a piece of the story. Ignore it at your own peril. Some choices might only become visible if your hunger is high enough. Similarly, high hunger may block off some choices, as you will be able to see after pressing continue. Was there a way for me to not have had this? I guess not. To decrease your hunger, you will need to feed. Whenever you see a feeding opportunity, you can take the risk to hunt and slake your hunger. Blocked off option again. This is probably when you have no hunger, so feeding opportunity. You will need to keep the hunger at bay if you are to uphold the masquerade and survive the nights that await you. Yeah, but you also shouldn't overindulge, that's the whole thing. Voila. You open your eyes. The bed isn't warm. The room is filled with artificial light from the ceiling. The solid metal door is closed. Normally you would stretch for a bit. On some mornings you'd probably throw the kilt over yourself and snooze a moment longer. But that was before. The way you woke up now, you are fully conscious. No grogginess. Nothing weighing you down. Just a nagging need in the back of your head. Hunger. Not as severe as the last time, but unmistakably there. You get up and open the door to the main room. Once again I can hear ambient noise of a door opening. This game may have more to it than is coming over on this video, which I apologize for. And do let me know in the comments if you dare to speak from the grave, if you do hear these sounds. Because it's very hard sometimes for myself, because my own hearing isn't very good when getting multiple input, let me just put it that way. So listening back to my own videos, I've had that with friends, and they are surprised to notice that I just don't hear everything. So that's why I always ask for feedback as well. It's not just because I just need social interaction. A digital clock on the TV shows you the time. 4:09 p.m. That's not how you pronounce it in English, but my brain goes bloop. You walk over to the blinds and retract them cautiously. The only light coming in is New York City's artificial nighttime luminescence. So that's what your waking hours are going to look like now. You missed the sunlight already. You're seriously considering just walking out of the apartment and figuring this all out by yourself. But then you come back to the memory of Kadir's exotic sword being raised in the gallery. Maybe sticking around isn't that bad of an idea after all. You keep jumping channels for around half an hour and then switch to streaming services. Almost as if the universe had a sense of irony, you catch True Blood. The flood of recommendations. I have no idea what that is, sorry. Ah, gosh darn, always when you find a nice show, it's Sophie. Good evening, Lamar. Slept well? Well, it's not really like normal sleep, is it? I suppose it isn't. Some say it's more like being dead. But we wouldn't know, would we? It's no use reflecting on it anyway. Except that this is who you are now. You made the right choice yesterday. I can teach you many things about yourself. Your blood. Its desires and its power. We will begin tonight. You are hungry, yes? I'm sure you are. Our kind always is. There's only one remedy, the blood. The drinks we had yesterday at Elysium are not the usual way you slake your thirst. So tonight I will assist you in your first foray into hunting. You need to learn the sense, the kind of blood you desire. To understand how, you can use the kind's vulnerabilities to your advantage. The kind of blood you desire? That's only for Ventrue, right? So let me get this straight. We are predators and humans are prey? That's pretty grim. I know what you feel. I remember the notion. But you will inevitably grow beyond it. You need blood to thrive. But there are ways, many ways to take it, some more humane than others. You will find that drinking moderate amounts of it regularly will keep the hunger and the whispers of the beast away. You might think yourself monstrous, but there is a balance to be found there. The kiss gives you the kind pleasure. You remember this from your own embrace. Some even can become addicted to the sensation, but if you do it right, they tend to misremember your feeding. After all, vampires do not exist. They are myths, fairy tales, and pop culture mainstays, correct? She gives you a sly, knowing smile. That is why the masquerade is so important, and even more crucial when you feed. How do I choose who to feed from? Are there better or worse target? Isolated kind are easiest prey, of course, but much depends on context. Hunting requires a different approach in a busy club than it does on an empty street. With time, you will find the luxury of finding your preference in hunting methods and prey. For now, I suggest experimenting in moderation. Feeding from the same area repeatedly can be dangerous, but by branching out you risk the ire of other kindred on whose domains you trespass. Lucky for you, New York City is more forgiving in this regard. New York is somewhat of a unique position, aren't they always? Whether it's on the West Coast, the East Coast, or somewhere even in Europe. Many of its neighbors remain contested or unclaimed. The reason for this is a lesson for another time, but keep the following in mind. Take opportunities to feed when they are present themselves to you. When they are presented themselves to you is what I wanted to say. Then I realized I said something wrong, and then I made a half-hearted half sentence of both out of them. I guess I'm hungry. These upcoming nights. As long as you hunt cautiously and respect the masquerade at all times, you should be fine. To wit, I want you to join me for a trip tonight. Come downstairs. Gregory is waiting for us. The busy streets fill the air with traffic noise, pedestrian chatter, and a mix of smells that disorient you momentarily. These warm bodies contain what you want. No, not what you want, but what you need. Yes, I know I sometimes sport artistic interpretation on the sentences, but that makes it feel more alive, if you can call it that. You catch yourself. Did you really just think of these people as mere sources of blood? It takes a nudge from Sophie to break your train of thought. Her driver opens the door for her and then tips his hat to you, gesturing to the back of the car. The car casually joins the somewhat thin New York traffic. It's still busy in a way only one of the biggest cities in the world can be, but compared to the daytime commute, it's a pleasant drive. You barely have the time to gather your thoughts and formulate new questions before a car comes to a stop. You're among the tall skyscrapers that make up Manhattan's iconic skyline. You feel a pang of emotion as you realize this is where you took part in the exhibition just 2 nights prior. Same address, and you expect same hall. To what ends has it been repurposed tonight? Come, Lamar. Park the car, Gregory, will you? The driver just nods and Sophie gets out. You join her and the two of you walk through the glass doors together, then take the elevator up. You first notice an empty stage with the instruments of a string quartet still in the back, then take in a few dozen chairs in front of it. The concert seemingly concluded, the patrons, all smartly dressed and posh, have spread out all over the hall. Sophie strides confidently inside, produces an invitation from her purse that she flashes in front of a security guard. You follow close and are let through without issue. Let's start easy. A social setting like this is one would usually prove quite challenging to an inexperienced kindred, but consider this evening a small gift from your patron. I'm hoping to procure for you a willing vessel. Just remember what I told you about taking small sips. This one I have a soft spot for. Don't damage her. Now let's see. Ah, there he is. Wait, Didn't she first say she and now it's an he? That may be a... Either it's my mind that did that, or there's actually an error there. She notices somebody in the crowd, flashes a heart-melting smile, and suddenly even you feel drawn to her. You haven't thought about it before, but it's laid clear before you in this moment. Sophie is beautiful. Just looking at her is a privilege. Just being with her makes you feel elated. Everybody in the crowd, but especially the man who's almost tripping over himself to reach her, clearly agrees. Edgar! I'm so happy to see you. How's your daughter? Is she with you? Oh, there she is. Julie, my girl, come over here, please. There's someone I'd like you to meet. The young woman who walks across the hall can't be more than 19 years old. It's clear from her mismatched earrings and the partially faded purple hair dye that she doesn't fit this crowd. Julie, this is Lamar. I think the two of you should get acquainted while I talk business with your dad. Awfully boring stuff, I assure you. I'm positive you'll like each other. The girl gives you a shy smile and nods towards the balcony stairs. You follow, somewhat unsure what it is exactly Sophie expects you to do. You reach a secluded space from which the entire lobby is visible. All eyes are on Sophie. They listen intently, then laugh when she does. Julie saves the trouble of figuring out the next step. If you're with Sophie... Oh, sorry. I should put on a different voice. She is like... This is a bit over anime type of character. I know that that you can see living dolls. I know it has a word for it, but I can't remember the exact word for it. But the living doll type of character, or this type of character in Japan, but you also see this a lot in New York still with this overly done with a tattoo of a space cat. It feels a little bit too much kawaii for me, but maybe that's me. If you're with Sophie, then I guess you're I mean that you, well, you know. She puts her wrist to her lips and gives herself the theatrical nip that looks to you embarrassed, but also hopeful. What? What? Are you into that sort of thing? She blushes, looks down at the floor, and nods. Could you? I mean, like, if you like, Miss Langley tells me She swallows hard, avoids your eyes. That I taste nice. I guess. You take your forearm in your hands. A quick look around confirms nobody's watching, and no security cameras cover this area. You bite down gently. Oh, come on, man. Just hold her, make her feel like she's wanted, then gently take a sip. Just go for the forearm. Have a little bit of class. Maybe I am playing the wrong one, but Toreador, you know, love, passion, come on, Lamar. Oh man, bro, we different type of Toreadors. It's surreal. She's just giving you her blood of her own volition. How is this possible? What about the masquerade? You need to ask, Sophie. Your thoughts disappear amid the bliss. There's just a taste. Sweet, fresh, sanguine. You drink. And drink. And drink. Oh, yes indeed. Nope, stop. You tear away from the girl harder than you wanted. Still, the bite leaves just tiny punctures. Almost as if by instinct, you lick them clean. And the little holes become concealed, just like that. Yeah, that's something they introduced later, that the lick cleans the wound, and I understand why they did that for the masquerade, but that's the only thing that's always irked me. Saliva having medicinal properties. If that would be true, then which person wouldn't use their vampire? I mean, use their saliva, thin it out or something, and have it sold like as a component of some type of medicine. You won't be able to break the masquerade if it is so unique that it feels like it's an artificial made drug. It just feels weird to me. Julie is now leaning on the wall, pale, wobbly on her feet, but happy? She lets out a dreamy sigh, opens her eyes, a few tears fall onto her shirt. tears of joy. Thank you. Please, can you walk me downstairs, please? My dad, oh, he doesn't know. Thinks it's a condition? Miss Langley told him so. She leans on you and requests you walk her over to the bench. She takes a seat and smiles at you. The crowd around Sophie disperses slowly. Looking at her now, only some residual awe hangs in the air. Yes, she's pretty, maybe even beautiful, sure, but not your type. What came over you before? Well, that is the power of the Toreador, my friends. You walk over to her. You just leave Julie sitting on a bench? Lamar, you are... Edgar, dear, it was splendid talking to you, but we need to get going. Give Julie my best wishes. Come with me, Lamar. You didn't bring her downstairs. Really? Really? I take issue with Lamar's approach. Gregory is waiting for you out front. It's only in the car that Sophie addresses you. I can tell from your look that you took the opportunity. Good for you. That girl's quite exquisite, don't you think? You wouldn't tell by her demeanor, but she has so much passion. It brings out a unique bouquet in her blood. I can't read this word without thinking of Mrs. Bucket. But I have the feeling today I am off-tracking every which way. I guess my brain is ragged and that's not a surprise, but I'll leave that. I mean, I didn't sleep well is what I meant. Anyways, as I said, my brain's a bit ragged, so I will stop here because I'm not sure if you all like these side comments like crazy. If this is just like, ugh, please don't, just, that breaks the immersion. Do let me know in the comments. I'm gonna record one more for this week. Might still be this weird type of commentary. Maybe I've been able to undo that veil a little bit. And whether you liked it or not, I say I thank you for watching. And remember, great peril yields great beauty. But then again, if you didn't like it, you probably didn't watch until this part. Until next time.